It's recording now.
Wow!
We're live. This is live TV.
We're live!
Welcome to our YouTube channel where we
Lit,
talk
crazy, party,
uh
movie. Last night was a
XD,
movie.
Disney XD.
I'm Brendan, and you're on Disney Channel.
Whip, 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 whip.
All right, so this is another episode of Kids with Divorced Parents. I think this is episode 10 or 9.
Wow.
I forget because I kind of want to check real quick because we just hit I think we just hit double digits for episodes. But we have a special guest, Brendan Peachey.
What's up? What's up? Thank you for having me.
King.
You can do you want to plug anything or like
Yeah.
do like a little introduction?
Sure. Okay. I'm Brendan Peachey. My parents are divorced. That's why I'm on this channel. You already know they've been divorced forever. Kind of toxic, but you already know I'm gonna plug some stuff. My YouTube, Peachey, just my last name, Peachey. My Instagram, Brendan_Peachey. And yeah, that's about it. I got Twitch too, Peachey Kid, but I don't really stream that much. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for
let's take
coming on.
this.
Yeah, we're just going to first talk about the tattoos that we just got a couple weeks ago, and then we can dive into all the personal stuff later. But
It
we
looks
just got
so
we
nice.
just got tattoos.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang, gang.
All right, Licia.
Gang,
Ooh,
gang.
it's still like popping.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
still like healing. It's the color of the ink takes twice as long to heal.
Ooh,
Dang.
ouch.
But
I didn't
doesn't
I didn't
hurt.
know that the color affected how long it would heal. I thought they all healed at the same time.
I think it's because it's basically a white ink tattoo.
Mm.
So basically what happens when you get it is your blood isn't strong enough, or your blood is stronger than the ink, so you don't see it for about a month.
Dang.
And it heals all wonky because of like my skin's like top layer not being able to like get over top of it. It's real weird.
Oh, that
But
is really weird.
it's cute.
You got your like first big like tattoo. How was like that kind of full experience?
Yes, sir. It was something else. As you can see, it takes up like my whole forearm. But I just wanted to get something small when we first walked in. And I just wanted it to be like that big, like nothing big. And I wanted it to be like a realistic rose or whatever. So I walk up and the tattoo artist he's like an older dude. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want, just like a smaller rose. I want it this size and look kind of realistic. And quote unquote, he said, that's fucking stupid. And I'm just standing there like, uh-oh. Like,
He was scary.
yeah, I'm like, okay. And he's like, how about this? And then he showed me a design and I'm like, that's cool. And he's like, you need it to be bigger for it to look good and realistic. And I'm like, okay. So he put the stencil on my arm and I'm like, fuck it, I like it. And he's like, how much were you thinking of paying? And I'm like, probably like $200-$300. And he's like, well, I can do that for you, but something way bigger. I'm like, okay. So that's how that happened. I really do love it. A lot of people have complimented it at like work and stuff, and it turned out really well. And I think it's healed mostly, but it like dries out. So I'm still putting like lotion on it and stuff like that.
How often are you still putting on lotion now comparatively to the beginning?
So, oh my God, in the beginning, I was so like freaking out about it. I would wash it and put on lotion like every hour. But now, I just put on lotion like when I wake up and when I go to bed.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad. I've been
Yeah.
getting so lazy with the lotion. I started off with like twice a day, and then now I'm like once in a while. Once I like remember,
What?
I see it like
He's lying. He probably never puts it on until he like looks at the lotion. He's like, oh,
It's like crackling. It's like, oh, I guess I have to put some on now.
Shut up. That's literally what I do. I'm like, oh shit, I have to put on lotion, so I put on lotion. What was your experience, Licia, with it? With
Mine
yeah,
hurt
getting the
really
tattoo.
bad while I was getting it done. I heard that's common, and it was also my first color tattoo, so I think that has something to do with it. But honestly, the healing process is just long. Like, it's not painful. It didn't hurt too bad like once it was done. I do have like like rosacea on the back of my arm, so like it like gets like naturally red and stuff like that. So like I didn't really notice much of a difference in that. But I like it because it's like a peekaboo almost, because like I can wear like a short sleeve shirt and you can see it. But it's super cute. I've gotten lots of compliments on it. It's from a music video that I really like. It's from an artist that I really like, so it means a lot. And I actually had, I think the process of getting it was like kind of crazy because we were there for like 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was really good. I had a good time. I just got 60 Canvas notifications. I'm gonna throw up everywhere.
No way. 60?
I literally just got 60 Canvas notifications.
What the hell? I'm still waiting on my pages to be published. Like I still have 2 more classes that have not been published yet, and it's literally the first day of school.
I have not checked Canvas one bit. I should probably check that soon.
Oh my god, Caleb.
I just got a bunch of like emails so far from like professors, but I haven't like checked Canvas because like I don't have any classes on Mondays.
Yeah, me neither.
I thought the experience was pretty cool. It was a little bit shaky in the beginning because like our tattoo artist was like 30 minutes late, 30 minutes to like almost what, like 30-45 minutes late. So we didn't
Yeah.
even think that our tattoo that did Alicia and I's were going to show up. But originally he was supposed to do all 3 of us, but that was good that you got an artist to do yours, because if one artist did like all 3 of ours, that would take like
We would have
5
been there.
million years, because I think
Truly.
both Brendan and I's took like 3 hours to.
And mine took 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was so fast. You're like, I don't know if I want to get it done. And then you sit down and you're done. Like,
Like, all right, you know, I'm done.
But do you guys plan on getting any more tattoos in the future?
I'm gonna give it some time, but yes. This one hurt worse than any of my other tattoos. Like I got it, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't ever need another tattoo. And then I was like, come on, bitch.
wow.
So it'll definitely be a hot second, but I'm definitely gonna get another one.
What about you, Brendan?
For me, I'm not sure, dude. Like the pain was so much. Like it was so big, and it was just like the white that he added at the end was the worst pain like ever. And so that like is part of it. But the second is like, this is so big. I don't know if I like want to get. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Time, I guess. Like Alicia said, I'm gonna have to give it some time because I don't even know what I would get if I got another one. But
Caleb sat there like a psycho, so I already know the answer to his question. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He sat there and he ate French fries.
I don't know why, but I really like the like feeling or sensation of like tattoos. I don't know. It feels like relaxing. It like doesn't hurt for me.
You're literally crazy, Caleb.
And then like I'm the same way with shots, like getting shots, like the flu shot and everything. Like when I was
give me that booster. I want to get that booster.
But like when I was little and growing up, when I was get like the yearly like shots or whatever for the flu shot and stuff, and I would always go with my mom, and every time that I got the flu shot, I always started laughing as they did it because it like tickled so much. And my mom's like, "You're a little devil child. Why are you laughing at like getting a flu shot? You should be like crying right now." But I don't know why,
Oh my
but
God.
I like the sensation of like getting a tattoo. But yeah, but like my plan is for this arm with that I just got a tattoo with to be all a sleeve one day. And
Dang.
yeah, and I like your idea, Alicia, with like the circles like around my arm and stuff, because I've been like telling people that's how I'm going to like do my like arm, because you need like focal points throughout your arm. And I'm excited to like complete that arm. And in this arm, I want to do like patchwork where it's just like random tattoos everywhere. And then like I want like a couple like back tattoos. I don't know if I think I want like a couple more like chest tattoos too. And I want a bunch
Would you let me stick and poke you on your arm? Would you let me do that?
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Okay, bet. We'll do it on your patchwork arm. I'll
Yeah,
stick and poke.
Hell no. Hell no.
And I want to
Gonna go on your thigh, Caleb, for Janice.
Yeah, I want a bunch of thigh tattoos too. That'll be like patchwork as well. And then I need to go back to the tattoo artist because like I need him to touch up the arm because like a couple of the squares aren't like fully complete. And like the
Really?
triangle at the top is like not connected. Like he missed a small little line.
Mm.
But yeah. How many tattoos do you have, Lisa, in total?
I have 4 tattoos. Oh, Brandon knew how many tattoos I had.
I remembered.
Period. Wait, are we tied, Caleb? Do we have the same number of tattoos?
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat you. That's my goal, to beat Caleb. Are we the most tatted out of the Bull House though? You and I?
Yeah, I think Titus only has 3. He would be the other one.
Get
Gang.
fucked. No, I'm just kidding.
Gang.
And then how many tattoos do you have, Brendan?
2. I got this one. There's a big one.
Mm.
And then this like
His booby tat. Booby tat.
oh my God, that's such a normie tat. It's just literally a fucking triangle on my chest.
I mean, I fucking have like the same thing too. Wait, where is it?
know. I
It's right
know.
there.
We
Wait,
got it
this is-
together.
We're soulmates.
We're soulmates.
You need
What
to
sh-
censor your nip. I have.
I got
so
a
have
I got a
one.
nip.
I
I got a
have
nip snap this morning from Caleb.
this
Yeah.
one.
Which one? Ooh. How are you gonna show? How are you going to show your thigh tattoo? With
I don't
your-
think I can. That one.
Oh, there it is.
Well, no, I have one that's on
Yeah.
this leg. I don't think I can show that one without showing the entirety of the audience my buttocks. So
Which one's your favorite, Licia, that you have?
that's hard. I really like my knee tattoo just because I think that one means the most. That one's my mom's handwriting. It's the first letter she ever wrote me when I came to Temple, and she writes me a letter every semester. So like it's just like for that, which is sweet. But I think I like this one the best because I can see it the most. And it was my first like visible tattoo because the other one was on my thigh and I could easily hide it unless I was at the beach. So that was like a big like little confidence moment. I was like, oh shit, I'm a tattooed woman with 2 tattoos.
What about you, Brendan? What's your favorite?
The triangle. I'm just kidding. Of course, this one is like it's. I don't know. After we got the tattoos, I was sitting with my friends Jamar and Colin at Colin's house, and I'm just like, damn, like this is gonna be on my arm forever, like forever, ever. And it's like this huge ass tattoo, and I'm like, this is like a fucking statement. Like this is straight up a statement. So
What
I'm
did
just
your
excited
mom-
for the warm weather, so I can wear short sleeves and just like rock it, you know. No, I really love it. So I mean, it means more than the triangle, to be honest. With like the every rose has its thorn type thing, and it's just like it's really pretty. So
Yeah.
Did your mom have anything to say about it?
I showed it to my mom over text. When we get more into like the podcast, like with the divorced parent stuff, like you'll learn more. I don't really talk to her that much, but my dad, when I went to my dad's for Christmas, my oldest sister, we have like a really tight bond, and I'm like, I have to show you something, and I don't want to show anyone else, so you can't tell anyone. And she's like, okay, what is it? And I showed it to her, and she's like, oh my God, Brendan, what the hell? And she's like, you have to show them right now. And I'm like, oh my God. So I walked into the family room with like my dad and my stepmom were sitting in there, and my other sister Shannon. And so I walk in and I'm like, I have to show you guys something. And I'm literally like holding my arms like this. And I'm like, I have to show you something. And they're like, what? My dad's like, did you get a tattoo? And I'm like, how can you tell? And he's like, it's just obvious the way that you're acting. And I'm like, okay. But they really liked it. My stepmom like looked at it a lot, but
Very nice.
I don't know.
So cool.
It was a good reaction.
Oh, that's really
How
cool.
how did your family react to it?
So my
Lisa
mom
did.
is not super big into tattoos, but she likes the color of this one because it's somewhat hidden. She's like, oh, it's really dainty and cute. And right after we went to the tattoo parlor, went out to dinner with my mom's friend who like went with me to go get my first tattoo, all that stuff. And she's like, I'm obsessed. I love it. And she's like, hold my arm and like stretched it and shit. I'm like, all right, cool. long as we're all on the same page.
That's fun.
What about
Well,
yours?
okay.
I bet your dad was mad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got COVID during this process, so
Yeah.
uh,
I get a call after we're at the tattoo parlor. He's like, hey, babe, obsessed with you. I have COVID. I was like, all right.
Lit,
well,
lit.
getting to the point, he was more worried about like getting COVID and me coming from my like inside the house and like going straight up to the bedroom. So I'm like, you only see my tattoo, and I quickly like showed it to him and ran up into my room. But I don't think he processed like the actual tattoo because of like the COVID thing
Everyone
was
does.
kind of like bigger like stress because like he didn't want to get it and stuff. And I was like, hell yeah. He does not have time to process this, but he likes it a lot. He actually like I was with him and watching movies because he ended up getting COVID as well. And we were like talking about it and he like likes it a lot.
Good.
But yeah. My
I
favorite
narrowly
tattoo
dodged COVID. I did not have COVID.
somehow
I dodged it, and then I was like, "Ooh, oh!" Sidelined by that shit.
my favorite tattoo is the airplane one.
Yeah, that one's sick. I love that.
Just
tattoo.
because
That one's
it's like,
awesome.
thank you. Just because it's like the most detailed, and I feel like the circle one that I just got is not complete. Just because I want him to like fill in a couple of squares. Because it was like a hard tattoo to do.
Oh yeah. So I might be changing my tattoo a little bit. I'm gonna get some more color added because I love that my mom loves that it's dainty, but I don't love that it's dainty. So I'm gonna get a lot more color added to it. I booked an appointment, so it'll be completed by the end of February.
With color.
I'm going to a different artist.
Okay.
No tea, no shade, but like I had a kind of like different style for what I wanted for it. So I'm going to another tattoo parlor also in Reading, which will be really cool. And I'm excited.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
love what he did. And I think that's what I wanted at the time, but I slightly altered what I wanted.
I feel like you were kind of all over the place with the design because originally I thought you were going to get like more colored and like shaded, but you were like all over the place with like what you wanted exactly.
Yeah, I feel like I was like, I can do it. I can just do it. But like I didn't want something super detailed and realistic. And I felt like that's what his kind of expertise was. So I was worried if I was like, yeah, just go for it, dude, then it would become something I like didn't really want. Yeah, I was all over the place. I definitely was. Because I like went in, I was like, all right, I'm getting an Adventure Time tattoo. Let's fucking go. So it was a slight change of plans on
Just
my
a little
part.
bit. I guess we can change the pace a little bit to more I don't even know how to phrase it, but more I guess not intense, but where'd Brendan go?
He's hiding. Da-na,
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 da-na.
da-na.
Well, we can change to what this podcast is actually about with kids
More
with divorced
diverse
parents.
content. Yeah, baby.
I guess what has your experience been with having divorced parents, Brendan? And you can get as detailed as you want. Like you don't have to give as much and or as little detail as you want.
I mean, it's definitely a roller coaster for me. So my parents got divorced when I was in kindergarten, I believe. Maybe it was preschool.
Okay.
But so my dad was in the military when my parents were together. And I was born in Alaska. And then we moved to New York and then to Texas. And so my parents got split up in Texas. And my mom and I and my sister and my brother, we all moved to Idaho because she met this guy. And so we all like drove up there. And so we started living there. And I lived in Idaho from like first grade until 7th grade. And so in that time frame, my mom got married 2 times, I believe, there. And so my dad was her second marriage. So her first marriage was with my oldest sister, Ashley, her father, and I didn't know she was my half sister until I moved to Pennsylvania. She was married 2 times before Idaho and then got married 2 times and divorced 2 times in Idaho. And through that time, there was just like a ton of stuff that happened that was like not okay, that I should like have not had to deal with.
Mhm.
And so we realized like, and my parents were always fighting. So it wasn't like a really good time. I would go visit my dad like during breaks and stuff like that. And it was like a vacation for me because he was still moving around. So in the time that I lived in Idaho, he lived in Kansas and Washington, in Georgia, and then Hawaii. So I would go and like visit him in those different places. So that was really great. I guess I won't go too deep into my mom, but like
Whatever
the
you
thing
want.
is she was like, she was always on like medication and stuff like that and like staying in her room. And that left like my sister and I to like look after the house pretty much. So that was like our responsibility. And if we didn't like keep the house like immaculate, we would get like screeched at and stuff like that. And sometimes there wasn't like a lot of food in the house. And like I had to call the police multiple times on my mom because of like some fighting with her fourth ex-husband and stuff like that. And we always had like a shit ton of animals for some reason. Like we always had a ton of animals that we could like not take care of. I don't know why we had so many. And eventually she got us horses and then like pushed us into it. Like I wanted to play soccer growing up,
Mhm.
but she got horses and it was cool and all. Like I love horses, but she like forced me to like show them and like go to these like fairs and like festivals and stuff like that. And so eventually the incident that got me, that like made me be like, I need to move with my dad because they had like split custody. I was coming home from my friend's house one night or one morning because I slept over at his house. And so I texted my mom, I'm like, I'm on my way home because he lived in the neighborhood. So I was just walking home. And she's like, no, it's okay. You can stay there. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't tell her, but I'm like, okay, I want to go home anyways. So I went home. So I tried getting in through the front door and it was locked. And then I tried the garage code and it was changed. So I hopped over the back fence and then I went in through the back door and I just see her and this random dude that I've never seen before in like bathrobes. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, I'm in middle school at this point. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Mm.
So I just end up like going upstairs and I'm just like, what the fuck? So anyways, at that point, I started like calling my dad and I'm like, I need to get out of here. Like, I can't live here anymore. And so I ended up going, it was one of the breaks, it was spring break of seventh grade. And so I went and flew to Hawaii with my sister to go visit him. But the plan was that I wouldn't go home. Honestly, this sounds like I was being like kidnapped or something like that, but it was out of my own will. So our plan was that I would go through the airport to show that he like brought me to the airport and it was under my own will. But then I wouldn't go through security. So, or no, I would turn around. Like as soon as I went through security, I would turn around. And so my sister ended up going home, but I ended up staying. And so my dad finally got full custody. And it was just like this whole like fight. I don't know if that's like what you wanted me to go through and stuff like that, but it was just
Go
like
through whatever you
it
want,
was
man.
crazy.
That is
And at this
crazy.
point, no one talks to my mom, not even like her own family, except for me, because I'm the youngest and I feel like bad for her. So I still
Mhm.
talk to her, but it was just kind of, it was a really, really crazy time. And like it kind of, I feel like it contributed to me being as independent as I am today and like all of like the values that I have. But at the same time, it was like fucked up, but I didn't really have a chance to be like a kid growing up, if that makes sense. But yeah, that was my experience. My brother still lives in Idaho. My mom actually moved to Pennsylvania a few months ago, and she's been trying to reconnect. She wants to reconnect with like my family, but it's just kind of too far gone at this point.
Yeah.
And so there's still like drama going on with that, but that's just like fresh stuff that I don't really want to get into. But
Totally.
yeah. So my dad lives in Pennsylvania. He's retired. He lives in Lancaster. And I finished my schooling in Hawaii and then Lancaster, and then I moved to Philadelphia. So yeah, that was it. Just some crazy stuff. My mom's been married. She just got another divorce, I think. So I think that was like her fifth or sixth. So yeah,
Hey, Queen.
What is
awesome.
sorry. What was I need to clear myself. Sorry about that.
No, go on, Clover baby.
What was it like traveling like to different places, like visiting your dad and kind of like that experience?
That was awesome. It was like I said, it was always like a vacation for it was always Shannon and I. My brother didn't really travel because he didn't like my dad for a long time. And that's the thing is my mom always tried to like make us turn against like our dad or like other siblings. Like I remember multiple times she would like stir up my sister and have her like screaming at my dad over the phone. But before that, like it was always such a good time. Like being able to go, he lived in Kansas, and honestly, there's nothing really going on in Kansas, but we were able to see the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I went to the Steelers versus Kansas City Chiefs game. That was awesome. We went to Savannah and like went on some like ghost tours because Savannah's like a
Savannah's
big
beautiful. I've heard
yeah, and
really
it's beautiful. Yeah, so it was just so cool. He lived in Washington for a bit, so it was just like it was always a good time. And Hawaii, like I only had those opportunities because he was in the military and I was able to go visit him. And like I said, it was always like a vacation. It was always just like stress relief, like, oh my God, I'm with my dad. I'm so happy, that type of thing. So it was a good experience.
Thank you for
How
sharing
long-
that with us. I can imagine
Yeah.
that's a lot, but I appreciate that.
No problem. I hope that wasn't like
Hmm.
too sidetracked, but
No, not at
No.
all.
Not at all.
it's just my experience.
How long did you like stay? And when you like visit your dad, how long was that usually?
So it would be half the summer, and for like it would change every year, I think. I forget, it was a while ago, but I think it was spring break, and then sometimes it'd be fall break, but sometimes it'd be winter break. So sometime like every other year I would be able to go there for Christmas, I believe.
Okay.
So it would just switch. But it was difficult because a lot of times like divorced families are like close by. So you just like go like in between. But I literally had to like fly. But it was just a good experience. Like we traveled by ourselves, my sister and I. So it was just like a very
That's good life skills too, just to
yeah,
know how to like do all that stuff.
yeah, for sure.
It sucks in a certain sense because I see what you mean about like not feeling like you could be a kid. But like if there is a silver lining to it, it's that you have become a lot more independent.
Yeah, for sure. I think about that a lot.
During the Egypt trip, I think we were all relying on you with the travel and airplane stuff.
That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, but
I was acting way too serious though in the airport. I'm like, we have to do this right now. And I'm like, oh my God. But it did pay off because when we lost like our baggage or whatever,
Mhm.
or when Trey's like was too big and we had to like stuff it into other like
Yeah.
suitcases. That was crazy.
Yeah, I kept thinking and like laughing to myself during that experience. I'm like, you're like our dad, and you're like telling us what to do.
Oh my God. And I was getting so mad at that first incident because I was like tipsy at that point, a little bit like drunk. And so I'm like, these guys aren't letting us take the suitcase on the plane. And I'm like, ah. And then we lost Trey's suitcase. But no, that was a lot of fun. That was a great experience.
You
Yeah.
lost Trey's suitcase?
Well, his suitcase was too big and we couldn't check our bags because our layover was too long in Germany because we thought we were going to be able to leave, but we couldn't. So it was too big to be a carry-on. So we were standing there and like, you can't bring this on the plane. And so we're all freaking out. We like rip open his suitcase, rip open our suitcases and just like throw all his shit in ours. And we're like, can we leave this here so somebody can come pick it up? And they're like, no. So they threw away his suitcase.
Oh my God.
They were like complete dicks about it too.
Yeah.
We were like all stressed too because we just found out that Josh left his suitcase back at Steven's house. And we were like stressing about that. And then we like come into like another incident with Trey and we're like, fuck. We was like all going downhill so fast. What does your sister kind of think about the divorce? I mean, you don't have to get into that too, because it's like about your sister and stuff. But and
You're good.
yeah, again, you can go in as much as you want and to as little as you want as well.
Okay, I got you. So Shannon, she calls my mom Kelly, if that tells you anything about that. She's like blocked her from all social media, like Facebook, Instagram. She doesn't talk to her. She had a really rough time because she was there after I left by herself. So
Mhm.
before I left, it was like the two of us kind of like in it together. Like we were in the works together, like trying to make it through. And then I bailed
Mhm.
and she was just by herself. And so that was rough on her and that like affected her a lot. So she hasn't talked to my mom anymore at all. And I don't think she wants to.
Is she
And
older or
so
younger than you?
she's 15 months older than me.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So that's just the difference is like I just feel bad for her. And because I was so young, I don't remember like everything that happened, you know. I just remember like the things that impacted me. So I still like try to make an attempt to talk to her at least so she like at least one of her kids talks to her, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But she's done. Like she's completely done with it. And she's good now, but for a while that really like affected her mentally and you could tell, but I think she's doing a lot better now. She's going to graduate
Woohoo.
after this semester, so she's good. She's a lot healthier now, but it definitely affected her more than it did me. And we both went through some like serious counseling after we moved with my dad, but she moved about half a year later after I did. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's good that she got out of that situation then
Yeah.
eventually.
There's
But
like so
yeah.
many more stories I could tell you. I actually want to tell you like one that was like key to me being like, what the fuck is going on here? So my dad came to pick us up one time and like bring us to the airport. And so my mom didn't want us to go. And I think it's because we missed our flight. And so my dad was like, okay, I'm just gonna come and pick them up and then bring them myself.
Oh shit.
And so, yeah, he was going to drive us. So he came down and then he was out front. I remember seeing him outside and I'm like grabbing my bags and everything, getting ready to go. And my mom's like, you want to see what your dad does, why you shouldn't go with him, blah, blah, blah. And so she takes Shannon and I into the office. I'm in grade school. I'm in grade school right now. Like, this is terrible. Like, I'm in grade school right now. She pulls out of the file cabinet like a porn magazine. And she's like, he sends these to me like in the mail. Like he signed me up for subscriptions to these. Like, look at what he does. Like he's a terrible person, blah, blah, blah. And I'm
You're
just
like,
standing
hey,
there
I
like,
can't tie my shoes. Like
like, oh my God, it was terrible. I was just standing there crying. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening right now. And my sister just got so mad because she was older than me. So she knew what was happening. And I'm just like, I don't fucking know. That just sums up like the entire experience. But how is your guys' experience? Sorry, I kind of want to switch up gears because it's just a little bit like,
Yeah.
oof.
Well, during what you were saying, because with like how you and like Shannon were kind of like together, like through the thick of it, and that's kind of how like my sister and we were kind of like through the thick of it too. She's 9 years older than me, so it was like a big difference. So she like was older and was like capable of like understanding why like my parents, or I guess I should preference like my my parents like used to fought like all the time, and it was like screaming matches and stuff, and I didn't really know why they were fighting, or like because I was like in grade school and my sister was like in high school and stuff and like about to graduate and stuff, but like it just reminded me of like how she like kind of protected me from those situations where she would like kind of distract me and like bring me to like a different room, or just like kind of like be next to me and kind of trying to like calm my parents down so that they weren't like in screaming matches with each other. But like when you said that, like with you and Shannon, you're kind of like a team. It kind of reminded me of like my sister and my relationship with how we kind of handled. It's weird because like we talked about like our divorced parents and like our situations in the past. And I never like made that connection until like just now. But it's kind of like interesting to see how like your siblings are going through like the same events as you are, but that if they're older, then they're kind of like you lean on them for like support, and then they kind of like control most of the situations and stuff and help you like get through it and stuff. So you don't take like the full like blunt of it, even though it's still like bad, bad situation for both people at hand. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of
My
like my experience with like just growing up before my parents got divorced. Because like honestly, like me and my sister like talk about this too. Like they should have gotten divorced like when I was in grade school, like very young, just because like they just didn't get along and they should have gotten like a divorce way later. But for some reason, it was weird because like when I like it was in middle school and like right before high school, they like kind of got better and they were like all like, oh, okay, like I was kind of thinking like, wow, okay, like the fighting's done. They seem like they're going to get better. Like they're probably not going to get divorced anymore. Like, cause like throughout like grade school and stuff, I was like, they're probably going to get divorced. But then like high school, freaking like 1 week like before my birthday, they're like, oh, we're getting divorced. And I'm like, what the
Oh.
hell? Like it came out.
Yikes.
Like it kind of like came out of nowhere when I
Yeah.
was pretty like I guess on the older side for having like my parents getting divorced.
How okay, so first of all, before I ask this question, so what you're saying about your sister, I completely get that with my older sister Ashley. She was like a mother figure to me when all this was going on. I don't know if you relate to that at all, but the question was, how did you like respond being older? Because like when I was younger, it was just like that's all I knew growing up is that they were divorced. But when you're older, it's like, oh shit, they've been together this whole time, and now they're getting divorced. Like, how does that feel?
I process things weird. And so this is kind of when I first got into like a disassociative like state because like I went to like therapy throughout high school, like on and off. I never realized I did this when I like my parents like told me that like they're getting divorced. But basically I was like playing video games down in the basement and my dad like brought me up to like into the kitchen area and they like told me that they're getting divorced. And then like I didn't feel anything. I'm like, I kind of just like want to go back and play video games. Like I just like kind of like just wanted to like shrug it off, but I'm like, fuck, like this is like a kind of a this is a life-changing like event because like, you know, like my parents are going to like split. It's going to be like 2 Christmases. Like I'm going to have to like spend my time differently between them. I'm like, this is a life-changing event for me. And like this should be sad, but like I didn't my brain kind of like shut down and like I didn't feel like any emotion. Like I didn't feel like sad. I didn't feel like hurt. I didn't like feel anything. So I'm like, all right, I have to show like some sort of emotion during this or like I'm going to look like psychotic because like I don't want to look like a serial killer and like have no emotion to like this like life-changing event. So I like forced myself to like start crying because that
Yes.
was
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Yes.
yeah.
That is exactly how I react to stuff. That is exactly how I react to stuff. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
It's common amongst kids who go through that stuff at like one of those formative ages or even younger ages, just because it's easier for your brain to shut off than to try and process things you don't understand. So that therapist of the Simpson too. So like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel that on another level, Caleb. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then like it popped like does it like come up later for you? Because like 4 years later, like when I was a senior, it like hit me all of a sudden. I'm like, oh fuck. Like all like my brain was just like finally processing the emotions correctly or just like trying to process what happened. And it like hit me harder in my senior year of high school than it did when I first found out that
Is that
like,
for me?
I guess that was just I guess that was to you or like I guess kind of like in general. But yeah, you can.
No,
Oh.
not really. Just because that's like all I've ever known. And it's more like the thing that has hit me more like lately is just like the issues with my mom. It's always been that like why she acts the way she does. And we've always kind of made a joke like we're all gonna have these like mental health issues because of her. And it's like who's gonna have the worst of it kind of thing, like in our family. And we always like I won't say names, but there's one member of my family that we're like, oh my God, she is like really acting like our mom a lot. But like that's just the thing is I'm scared sometimes when I look at my habits. I'm like, oh my God, I'm acting like her. And that's like the only thing. Like I've always seen them as like two different entities, so it's never really like hit me like that. at some points I'm like, damn, I really wish that I had like a family that was together, you know, because our family is like very dissociative. Like we're not very close at all. We have like different, like it's very different from a traditional family. Like I'll have different connections with different family members, but won't really feel close as like a whole.
Mhm.
But it's always been that way. It's more so just like the connection with my mom, and I'm just like, I don't want to act like that. I don't want to have these like mental health issues kind of thing. And I used to never think about that until like more recently.
Mm.
But how about you, Licia?
So I was the older sibling, so like that was an interesting thing. So my sister is she's 18. Holy shit, that doesn't feel real. And I was in 8th grade when everything happened. So I was like old enough to somewhat understand it and old enough to still feel like it was my responsibility to hold things together. If that makes sense. I'm always like, Caleb, I don't know if I can talk about it.
Yeah.
So my dad left, and then my
I-
parents got divorced. So it's slightly different. Just because it wasn't like something that we necessarily saw coming, just because it was very much my dad's decision. So it's different in that way, but like I think it has strengthened my relationship with my mom a lot. Yeah, like my mom was pretty much a single parent for most of my life. So like I am like this with my mother and barely speak to my father. Like I don't. It's just not really my jam. Like it's not something I'm about. Um my dad's kind of a shitty dude. So like it was easier to sever that tie. And I think maybe at first I was like, oh, I really hope that they get back together. But then I like started to like separate my dad as a person and as a parent. And he may have been good at one of those things for a while, but if you don't like them as one or the other, then you need to kind of choose. I only saw my dad every other weekend and I didn't sleep over at his house. So like it was kind of like, we're gonna go to Target with your dad. Like that's just kind of what we did.
Oh my God.
Um, so yeah, I think that I feel a lot of the things similarly. It was a lot easier to like kind of like shut it off and not talk about it at first, especially as the older sibling, because you feel like, oh, well, I'm older, so I have to help my sister and I have to be able to understand these concepts that I might not be able to understand, but I kind of have to understand them now because they are so heavily affecting me. So I think that's like a pretty like normal reaction, especially at the age group that we all kind of found out at.
How did that like kind of being like the more mature one and then kind of having like feeling the obligation of kind of being like taking care of your sister more, how did that kind of like affect you in the later years, like late high school to like even now, if you don't like mind?
Yeah. Mm, I think in a lot of ways it made me more independent as a person, and I wouldn't describe myself as an independent person. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Like I love being around people and I'm not necessarily like, I think I have a big personality, but I don't necessarily have like a parental personality, if that makes sense. But that kind of allowed me to tap into that. So like I can have that kind of side to me. And I think I respond well when situations need somebody to kind of take charge, which is interesting because I don't think I otherwise would have done that if that was the case. It made me be more cognizant of my emotions. And I think for a while I managed that in an unhealthy way, but I have now since been able to manage that in another way because I'm so aware of all of my feelings and my emotions and such. But yeah.
That's interesting. I never really thought about it like the opposite way of, I guess, kind of how like my sister felt, or like having like the opposite feeling of like the older sibling kind of having to take care of, not take care, but like look out for the younger sibling because like,
And I would say
yeah.
it goes both ways too.
Yeah.
Like age doesn't necessarily have to do anything. And me and my sister like were able to get through it because we had each other. And it's not like I had to become like a third parent or anything, because I definitely was incapable of that when I was like 11 years old. But yeah, it's an interesting, strange balance.
I was going to say, like, you just brought up like a good point too, with like not necessarily having to be the parent or like have the full force of like kind of looking out for the younger sibling, kind of having like the younger sibling also be there for you. I always like talk to like younger siblings about like that experience where it's like kind of like not really knowing how to handle certain situations and stuff. And I never really talked to people who are like the oldest sibling, and kind of not necessarily always having to take on full responsibility, because like the younger sibling can also help in a lot of cases. But it's interesting to get like that perspective, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think of more questions to ask, but I'm just blanking on the situation. Or
I think
on
we talked about a lot today. I think this was like our most emotionally productive.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. They froze.
Uh-oh.
Caleb! Oh, there he is.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
I
Did
like
you hear me, Caleb?
I logged out. I don't know if that like both of you like froze. Oh,
On a hat? Who knows?
Hat. Oh my god.
There's Caleb.
There you
hi.
are.
You keep freezing on our screen, Gordelicious, so I
You
don't know
guys-
what's happening.
Here, let me change my room because that might be the issue. I hope that didn't mess up the recording at all.
I doubt it.
But yeah.
But Caleb, what I was saying is, with like vulnerability, Josh and I were talking about it because he's not easily like vulnerable in front of people. And then I've had incidents with Josh where I'm just like super, super vulnerable for no reason. And just like moving around so much and having to like forge relationships with people quickly, and then for them to like go away quickly and then be in a new location and have to form like more relationships, it just like allows me to be like super, super vulnerable in front of people, like
Good.
sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better. Like that one week where it's just Josh and I at the house, and like I kind of just went off too much about stuff going on in my life, and it was just a weird weekend. Like that was bad, but like this, I'm glad that I can talk to you guys about it and not feel like super uptight, because I think it's important to like talk about these feelings, because they kind of like make you who you are. Like we're all who we are just because of like these experiences that we've had, and for better or worse, like it makes us different. And you know, we can,
Totally.
I feel like we can all relate.
I think it's really important to be
Parents.
kids with divorced parents.
I hate that voice.
What a beautiful voice, Caleb.
Should I go on Broadway with it?
Oh yeah, babe.
You should go on American Idol.
I think I should. I would probably win it all. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, you know what? You're so right, babe. You're going to Hollywood, dog.
Masked singer Caleb Lienza,
The disgruntled Eagles fan.
who wears an Eagles costume for his suit.
But yeah, I think it's really important to open up and like be or talk about like your feelings, like you said, too. And that's kind of like why I wanted to start this with you, Alicia, too, because I feel like I wanted to like talk more openly about like kids having divorced parents or quote unquote, but like not even about like necessarily like having kids or like having divorced parents, but just like anything in general too. Cause like I just wanted to create a space or a podcast where it's more, not more, but like create like a safe environment where it's easy, you can easily talk about your feelings and like traumatic events that happen in your life. So yeah.
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 And I'm here to lighten the tension. Stupid jokes.
Alicia is the comedic relief.
Thank you. I go poo poo pee pee, and then everybody laughs.
Ew. Get her off. Get her out of here.
Get her out of here.
Do you guys want to end this here, or do you want to talk about the first time when with Titus when we got like tattoos and you guys got piercings? Do you want to talk about that experience quickly?
That was
Or-
traumatizing.
That was traumatic.
Such a bad day.
That was fine for me. That was traumatic for Alicia. I think it was fine for everyone else too. I think Alicia just had a rough day. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because okay, so they got tattoos and I got piercings. I got this cute little guy done. And then he had the apprentice do it. And they held my head like this on the table. And I was like, oh, okay. Can I hold my friend Brendan's hand, please? I'm gonna cry. And they were like, no, you can't. And I was like, all right, well, can I talk to you while you do it? And he said, no, you're gonna distract me. I said,
There's some dingy back room, like the size of a closet, and Lucy was just
laying
and there's literally a curtain that they closed, so I couldn't go back there. I'm just like,
and and then they got the earring lost in my ear and had to like poke it through. It was awful. It was easily top 10 worst piercing experiences of my life. I bled so much. I was on the verge of tears the whole time. I threw up. Well, I almost threw up. And I just felt like I was gonna pass out the whole time. And then Brendan's like, I got my ears pierced.
there's a bump, easy. I was like, okay.
How long did it take to heal?
Like 6 months.
Damn.
I just changed the jewelry now, and we went a year ago.
Damn. Wait, Brendan, what were you thinking the entire time?
Mine was easy. It was just like boom, boom, done.
Yeah.
They used like a stick thing or whatever, and it was like it didn't really hurt that much, and it didn't bleed that much. So I was chilling.
Did you think I was gonna die?
What?
Did you think I was gonna die?
Yes. Oh my god. And then it was Licia's turn, and she was like, oh yeah, I want to get this. And they're like, okay. And then we walked towards the back. And like I said, it's just like, I don't know if I'm remembering this right, but it was literally like a closet.
It was literally a closet.
It was like Harry Potter's room from like under the stairs. And I'm like, what is happening right now? They put her on the table. This guy's like standing over her. She's like, can I hold Brendan's hand? And he was like, no. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I just felt so bad because there's nothing I could do. And I just like, I hear Licia just like freaking out. And I can tell she's freaking out. We're both like, what the hell is going on? And then I couldn't be back there. So I was just like waiting outside, like not sure if she's going to fucking pass out. And the paramedics were going to have to come. And I'm just like, what the fuck? But it turned out okay, I guess.
Yeah,
it took a little bit longer than expected, and that's when I started to worry the most. I was like,
You were like, all right, she's either dead or dying.
Getting rid of the body right now. What should I do?
No evidence.
It was so funny because like I lost my mask going to the piercing and stuff. So like I turned around and tried to look for it, and then I couldn't find it, so I had to bring Titus like back so that he could get a mask from CVS, because at that point in time Lancaster was still like safe about COVID, and they were enforcing the mask mandate and you had to wear a mask and stuff. So like he got a mask. But we come walking in, and then I felt like I was walking into like a fucking battle zone, or like a fucking like war zone, because like you just have like blood on you and stuff, and you're like
I hate Lancaster.
Can we go? I'd really like to go now.
I have been scarred from Lancaster. Now I don't ever want to come back.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I had a good experience getting this tattoo. Oh my god, the vape god.
Hashtag vape god.
Shh. Don't tell anyone. Hey, Brendan.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to do it in the house.
Don't look behind you. But there's a Don't look behind you. Steven's behind you looking through the window.
Oh my god.
All right, I guess we can end this here. It looks like Brendan, our guest, has died. Oh wait, no, there he is.
Yeah. He recently got pierced in Lancaster, and we never heard from him ever again.
I've been saving up this entire time. Like,
why have you been?
I just couldn't find a good place.
Should
It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, I guess we can end this here. Thank you for coming on, Brendan, and being our special guest for this
Thank you,
week.
thank you, thank you.
And gang, thank you for having me. This was great.
No shade, but you're 1,000 times better than Titus. He dipped on us twice.
What do you
True.
mean?
He dipped on us twice. We scheduled like twice to record on Sunday, like 2 times. Like,
And now
two
every
different
time I
weeks.
see him, he's like, please let me on the podcast. Please.
But
Like,
both
you're gonna
times,
show up?
I would
So, like-
absolutely come on again because I was just standing there and like we've been going on for a while, so I don't want to add more, but I just thought of like more stuff to talk about. So if you guys
Oh.
ever need a part 2, let me know.
I mean, if you want to talk about it now, I'm not doing anything.
I can because I have to leave for work
Yeah.
soon. But
Yeah,
Part two.
yeah, part two. Yeah, but we'll
Part
definitely
two.
have you on.
after our next tattoo / traumatic piercing.
I'm getting a sleeve.
Goodbye.